Good morning. So, a lot of questions arose due to the eclipses also within me, and I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on how I work because I think that I was a little bit scattered in my last sharing about this, and I think it's important. So, also because I just love eclipses. So, we always look at the birth chart. That's always the starting off point. Now, the thing is that when we look at eclipses as separate isolated events, we're going to miss out on a lot of perspective, right? So as I shared in the last sharing, each eclipse is part of a saddle cycle orbiting around the globe. So reoccurring eclipses over the decades of time. Now, the birth of this cycle, which is also including the upcoming solar eclipse at the 8th of April. So, the birth of this saddle cycle has also a strong component of Uranus, Mercury, and Mars, which is more on personal insight, which is more on rational approach, which is about luminous ideas, which is about expressing oneself, about sticking up for oneself, assertivity. So that's not so much in line with a Libra theme, right? So it's more in line with the Iris theme, actually. So that's interesting, right? So we have an eclipse axis occurring in Libra Iris, which is a dine mine or mine dine, if you will. So the lunar eclipse that just passed was in the sign of Libra, however, with a strong Iris quality. So this is important to take into account, right? We look at this as a bundle of symbols. So I'm just taking you on a journey through this thought pattern of mine. So then we go into the personal chart of the client, and then we take note if there is already a theme that's relatable to this one. So then it's going to be extra important. So the mind-dine axis is activated, maybe some conflict around Mars or Venus, but yeah, these things are going to be important. So there's many more things that we take into account, of course, but this is an example. So the realm of life that the eclipse manifests in is very important. So solemnly, a lunar eclipse in Libra would refer to great insight in personal interaction, relating to others, relating to needs of others, also of getting a stronger relationship, harmonizing with those needs. Can be like a very unpredictable outcome, but anything in terms of the relationship in relating to others. Now, take into account that information we found at the birth of the saddle cycle is going to get a little different twist to it, right? So we take into account the need for personal expression, the need for rational understanding, the need to explore, have luminous insight, be anarchist even, right? Uranus component very strong in that birth chart. So luminous ideas are important. A sense of freedom, a sense of individuality is important in relation to the group, in relation to others. So it's a little different zest to that information of the lunar eclipse in Libra. All right, so it's also included the solar eclipse, right? So that's ahead of us at the 8th of April. So it's still important information. Now, then you look at, for example, if this is an axis that is so much referring to the relationships or relating to others, personal relationships, then you look at the person and the situation present. Is the person in a romantic relationship? If so, what is the alchemy of the relationship? So you look at the synastry, the way the two birth charts align. Also, you look at the composite, which is the alchemy, the merging of two charts together. Now, if you have features that are going to emphasize this or are going to be triggered by this in a good way, amplified, I should say, then it's going to be a prosperous eclipse. However, or the more likely to be a prosperous eclipse. And then when you go and you find that there is like a problem with assertivity, a tendency for toxic relationships, something like that, right? So we have all kinds of different features that can be represented. So we look at this whole thing, this whole bundle of symbols as in a more holistic way. So I remember sharing something in my different account about astrology not being, like it's not general. It is collective, but it's not general. And I felt that I was actually generalizing some things that I really don't, because I want to like rectify that. So yeah, take into account the birth chart is always important. Take into account the birth of the saddle cycle. Then you look at the axis of the eclipses. So the solar eclipse will be in Aries. So that's important. You look at the realm of life in the birth chart that the eclipses are manifesting in. If this is the theme, the relationship theme, you're going to look at the situation of the client and see if the client is in a romantic relationship. If so, what is the alchemy of the relationship? If not, what are the needs of the person present in the or the needs for a relationship, or the needs within a relationship if it would occur? And all these things you take into account, and then you weigh off and you talk to a person. You have a dynamic conversation on how to reveal what the eclipses are in potential speaking. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope you have a good day. I'm going to continue my journey, and that's light study, right? You're never done. That's the thing. Never ever think that you are there, because you're not, and that's amazing, right? We just keep on learning as we go along. Jai ho.